Now, you might well have been hearing this story as part of BBC Radio Stoke's Make a Difference campaign all of this week. We've been speaking to people who are affected in some way by loneliness. Our mission is to try and bring communities across Staffordshire and Cheshire a little closer together. And today we're focusing on life in our less populated communities, let's just say. In the studio with us, Linda Stone, CareLink team leader from Saltbox, and Steve. Morning, both.
Morning.
Thanks for coming in. Just tell us a little bit about how CareLink works to try and sort out loneliness in your area. What happens?
Sure, yeah. So CareLink is a telephone befriending service. So we have a team of volunteers. We've got about 30 volunteers who will ring people each week and have a chat with them and see how they're doing. The service is for anyone who's over 50 in Stoke-on-Trent who's struggling with loneliness and isolation, and that could be for all sorts of reasons, really. For some people it's that they've got older and they've perhaps got physically less mobile, can't get out. For some people it's they perhaps struggle with mental health, so anxiety, depression and so on, struggle to get out. For others it's more of a practical thing. They're caring for somebody, perhaps caring for elderly relatives, and they can't get out, but whatever reason they can't socialise in the way that they're sort of used to, and so our volunteers will ring them up, have a chat with them, just chat about normal life, really. You know, how's it going, what's going on, and then if there's any particular problems they're having, we've got a staff team, there's 5 of us who will support those people. You know, perhaps they need a lift to a doctor's appointment, or perhaps they need something fetched, you know, anything like that.
Steve, you were poorly, weren't you? You got ill, and then this service has kind of helped you out. Just tell us a little bit about you and your story.
I'm visually impaired. I've been living with sight loss for 15 years, and through looking after myself I've become very reclusive. I'm only early 50s, but I found myself in a little world all on my own. I approached the job centre to ask for help. They guided me to the doctors, and the doctors pointed me in the direction of CareLink, and I'm still a client, but I've become a volunteer worker as well, and it's getting me out the house and I'm enjoying it.
That's brilliant. How bad did it get for you? What was the low point?
It isn't so much bad, it's the time you spend alone. I still can do 7 days, no problem, without speaking to anybody.
And what's that like?
Normal for me, but I need, for my own mental health and everything, I need to get out, and that's when I joined CareLink and started getting out, doing the voluntary work, doing days like today, focus groups and that, and it's rebuilding me confidence and getting me back into society.
Yeah, how do you feel now then compared to then?
A lot better. I'm on the right path now.
Linda, what are some of the saddest cases that you've seen of people who are just alone?
Yeah, I mean, we've got one lady on our books at the moment, and she's in her early 90s. She lives in an upstairs flat. There's no lift, so she can't physically get out anyway. And she actually approached us and said, look, I haven't got any family. A lot of my friends have died now, and nobody knew that they'd died. And this was her big fear. So she said, I just want someone to ring me every morning so someone still knows that I'm here, someone still knows I'm alive, which was hard. But actually for her, it gives her a kind of a real confidence again that somebody knows what's going on and someone will deal with things.
Do you think it's difficult for people to make that initial call, to pick up the phone, to tell a doctor or tell you?
I think it is. I think there's a real stigma. I mean, this whole sort of campaign around raising a profile of loneliness, you know, we don't like to admit we're lonely. You know, I haven't got as many friends as I wanted, and it can happen to all people in all situations of life, all ages. So this is just about saying actually it's okay to say I'm lonely, and you know, reach out, because you know that's what we need as people, isn't it? We need community. We need people to care.
Guaranteed there will be hundreds of people listening right now who are either in this boat or know someone that is. Steve, what would your advice be, having been through it, you know, those weeks and weeks at a time where you might not see anyone? What would your advice be to someone in a similar position?
Make the same move as I have. Get in touch with a charity that can help. They get you out the house. They do what you need. You know, like today, I'm out of the house now. It's making that contact, making that first move. It is a very hard move to admit that you need the help. But once you do admit it to yourself, that help is there, and it's wonderful help.
And Steve, I've got to ask you, because you said you've got sight loss. Yes. This news this morning might not help you, but what do you think of it, this stem cell research that's going to reverse some people's age-related macular degeneration so they can see again?
It's going to be a good thing. It's got to be a good thing. For somebody to go blind and get used to it and then be told they can have the help to restore that eyesight is amazing.
Gives everyone hope a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's an incredible story. Linda from CareLink and Steve, thanks so much for coming in this
Thank you very
morning.
much.
Thank you.
It's Liz Ellis and John Acres at breakfast on Tuesday the 20th of March.